Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. And thank you to the panel for all their great conversations and information that they put forward this morning and this afternoon. Over the past 6 months, this committee has held multiple hearings featuring public health experts and officials, as well as witnesses from pharmaceutical companies involved in the development and manufacturing of the vaccine, while discussing the public health response to the coronavirus pandemic. Through the CARES Act, and as we have seen, the government made significant investments in a bipartisan way in the private sector to manufacture and scale a vaccine to protect Americans from the coronavirus. And early reports on development of vaccines are promising. The release of an effective vaccine will mark a milestone in scientific progress and will serve as an effective weapon to finally defeating the public health crisis. However, Americans are confused and scared. Pew Research Center poll released just 2 weeks ago showed that only 51% of Americans, adults, would definitely or probably get a COVID-19 vaccine if it were available today. These numbers represent a 21% drop from survey numbers released in May. This has the potential to be of massive concern. I also want to address the issue of what this means to the development of future vaccines and future medicines as we go down a path of injecting politics into this process. This is about scientists and researchers and the process as it has been for many, many decades. In my mind, we need much transparency is needed from the vaccine manufacturers, our public health agencies like CDC, FDA, and NIH, so that the public knows the vigor and the scientific discovery that are going into the development of these products. Unfortunately, we're seeing the current process that has casted doubts on our apolitical public health agencies, with new stories being released daily. Clear and straightforward information from our leaders is necessary to ensure that Americans are vaccinated when these products are brought to market. Further communication is also needed from the pharmaceutical companies, though, and their role is critical, and their business depends on public trust that their vaccines and medications work as intended. American people need unprecedented transparency from pharmaceutical companies to explain what the various trial stages mean, what possible side effects are, and eventually, when the vaccine is approved, are the individuals who may be given the drug, are they compromised in any way? This first vaccine will not be the last vaccine, and hopefully will not be the only vaccine. Dr. Jha, I would like to ask you, you have cautioned against politicians publicly suggesting dates by which a vaccine will be available. Can you talk about how political intrusions into the vaccine development process are harming Americans' trust in our public health officials and public health agencies? And importantly, how this will be undermine the importance of Americans being able to be vaccinated when a safe and effective vaccine is approved. Thank you.
So thank you, Congressman, for that very important question. The bottom line is that so far, the scientific integrity of the vaccine process has been superb. It's been really world-class scientists working in the private sector, working with NIH to do what I think is an unbelievable job in bringing a vaccine forward in record timeline. The problem is that when I speak to people working on the clinical trials, they can't give me a date. They don't know when a vaccine is going to be ready for, there are processes for looking at the data. There are independent boards that are going to be doing this. And what we all want is we all want a vaccine yesterday. but we want a vaccine that's safe and effective, and we've got to let the science play that process out. And it makes me very anxious when I hear CEOs of companies who technically don't have access to the data, or political leaders who are picking specific dates and saying, we're going to have a vaccine by a specific date. I know that they don't know what they're talking about. I'm hoping they're not meddling in the process, but it makes the American people deeply concerned because they don't know all of the safeguards that are in, and we all worry that those safeguards are going to be undermined. So what I've been asking is for politicians to basically be quiet, to knock it off, to stop talking about dates, let the scientific process move forward, and we'll have a vaccine when the scientific process run by the FDA and other scientists will declare, based on scientific principles, that the vaccine is ready for authorization and eventually approval. But not a day before then, unfortunately, and that's what we have to work on.
And thank you, Madam Chair. I yield.